During the month of June, besides the feast of our Mother of Perpetual Help, we also celebrate the feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Pope Pius XII made the Immaculate Heart of Mary a feast day in 1944, and it was to fall on the Saturday following the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. At that time, Pope Pius XII was asking people of the world to join with Mary in a single-hearted search for peace in those waning months of World War II. If our world is still beset by violence and war, it's because too many people are single-hearted in their search for power instead of joining Mary's Immaculate Heart in a search for the keys to peace, which are found in justice, honesty, and the promotion of the good of all. It's interesting that the symbol of Mary's Immaculate Heart is a heart on fire pierced by a sword. And that's to remind us of Simeon's prophecy that Mary would suffer so that many could find the way to truth, as indeed she did at the foot of the cross. Now, it's difficult to imagine Mary's heart being at peace at the foot of the cross. But remember, it was immaculate in its union with God's will. Mary stood there, just not out of deep love for her son Jesus, but for the love of God, seeking to conform her will to God's, even if she did not understand. Mary faced a number of situations she did not understand, and we're told this explicitly in Luke's Gospel during the period of Jesus' nativity. What mother could understand why her son would disappear only to be found 3 days later, sitting among the teachers of the temple and asking them questions? She rebuked Jesus, but she also accepted his explanation, and most importantly, she pondered what he said to her in her heart. Implicitly, we're told the same when she hears Simeon's prediction, when her son appears to be telling her at the wedding feast of Cana, "This is none of our business," when she hears Jesus say in a large crowd, "Who is my mother?" And again, most of all, at the foot of the cross. But Mary kept moving on without understanding, pondering these events, these words spoken in her heart. We know that Jesus learned obedience from Mary in Nazareth. And it's clear that Mary learned obedience most from Jesus at the foot of the cross. Mary's steadfastness, her single-heartedness, these weren't based on external evidence. This came because of a deep trust. The pondering in her heart without understanding had led her to not needing to understand. After all, how could a mother understand that her innocent son is being cruelly executed? You know, being sure of something and being assured, they're not the same thing. When someone is sure about something, what that implies is that they have come to an understanding, and that understanding that they have come to rests on evidence, solid evidence. Being assured speaks of an inner stance which rests totally on trust. Mary was assured, even when she could not be sure. And that love for God and for Jesus, it spilled over into her love for her people. She was single-minded and open-hearted in her desire that God save his people. That was the only thing that could give any meaning to Jesus' terrible death on the cross. And that's why John the evangelist tells us in his gospel that as Jesus looked down from the cross, he saw his mother and the beloved disciple, and he said to his mother, "Behold your son." And then to his disciple, "Behold your mother." The disciple in John's gospel has no name. He is simply called the beloved because he stands for each one of us. In Mary's Immaculate Heart, we encounter the love of a mother that's open to all of us. We will never truly understand the good things of this life, nor our difficulties. But we can contemplate them with a heart open to God's will, as did Mary. We will never be as single-minded or as pure of heart in our love for God and one another as Mary was and is. But we can imitate her openness, her open heart. And if we allow the warmth of her mother's heart to carry us closer to the love of God and of Jesus Christ, then I believe we can find the strength to give more of ourselves to those who need us and to be more accepting of our own weaknesses and those of others. That is the way of peace. O pray for us, O Mary of the Immaculate Heart, our Mother of perpetual help.